Kate has left the panel. However, Rob has the study I was mentioning earlier. Rob, if you want to.
Yes, sir.
I think I'll be fair. I think it's embarrassing. I think men are more embarrassed to say that's happened to me. They don't want to admit that maybe their wives have cheated, or their wives went away with somebody else, and they don't want to admit it, and that's because maybe violence, like more
Oh yeah,
domestic.
well, it's also
Aye,
it's perceived as extreme weakness if a
aye,
male has
aye,
gone through that. Yeah.
aye. But they don't have a choice, so there's no weakness because they
No.
don't have a choice. It's not they never made that choice. Their wife did, or whatever, their partner, if it's a man, which is fair enough, whatever there. Eh, but they made that choice. So the person that's happened to is not the weakest person. They're the better person in my eyes. They're the better person because you didn't do it. So
Hmm.
why would you be that person? But they feel
Yeah.
that way.
I don't have an answer to that. Rob, go ahead.
So this study, and after this, Kai, you can go ahead after I read this. This study says, and it's from the independent.com, roughly 1/3 of male university students who took part in a study would grape a woman if there was no consequences, according to a new scientific study. The research, published in the scientific journal Violence and Gender, presented mostly white male American participants a questionnaire on how they would act in certain sexual situations. Amongst other questions, they were asked how they would act in a situation where they could have sexual intercourse with a woman against her will if nobody would ever know and there wouldn't be any consequence.
It's a no. It's a no
31
regardless.
31.7% of all men participating in the study would force a woman to have sexual intercourse in such a consequence-free situation, which is grape. Worryingly, most men who indicated that they would commit grape did not even recognize their actions as such. When explicitly asked whether they would grape a woman, if there were no consequences, only 13.6% of participants said they would do so. So half of the ones that said they would do it didn't realize that constituted grape. That's fucking
I,
1/3 of
I'm
men.
being honest. I think some people actually been accused of it and they actually haven't done it. Like more famous people, to be honest. And like footballers, things like that, people say they did this, they did that, and it's all lies. And they believe that that does happen. But why would you? Why? For me, I'm a female, right? Why would I say somebody did that to me and it didn't happen? That's embarrassing. Who would actually embarrass themselves with saying that somebody did that to you when they didn't? Seriously, is that right? Is that actually wrong?
No, false accusations are always
That's wrong.
false
Why would you do
accusations are
that? That's
always
wrong.
wrong.
Mhm.
Real quick,
And no amount
Kai.
of money could fix that. No amount of money could fix that. Why would you even do that? That's wrong for the highest level.
Dance Katie, I
Maybe
have
people feel like
spoken
a difference.
about that. I actually have a video about that on my profile. And that's a valid point. There was a secret Telegram chat containing, I believe it was 7,000 men that
Hmm.
were openly discussing with each other about their grape fantasies, um, methods to commit grape, websites where you could get sedatives, all kinds of nasty, disgusting
Sending
shit.
quote unquote evidence back and forth, which was just exchanging of CP. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking disgusting. Kai, I know you've been waiting. Oh, it was 70,000 men, not 7,000. Sorry.
It's so good, Rob. What's it called? I don't know if Kate is still here, but she had brought up how men are predictable, and to kind of counter that, I just wanted to say a couple names, like Ted Bundy, for starters. Uh, very charming guy, talks them into helping him out with a fake cast and stuff. And then as soon as they got close to his car, you know, grabbed them. And uh, Jeffrey Dahmer also lured a bunch of victims.
Charles
And
Manson.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, I'm blanking on the other dude. Uh, John Wayne Gacy, he was the owner of a business, and nobody in the community really thought, hey, he would do that. Uh, but also the fact that she had mentioned they shouldn't treat all men as it, and I just want to point out how they're not saying all men do it. They have to treat it as if it were every man, though, for self-preservation. I know we've talked about that before, but how if there was a chance of me just walking in the street and one of a few dudes out there could just grab me and do that stuff, I would start treating it as if it were all of them, and I would avoid any of them that I see. So,
Yeah. Absolutely, Kai. Thank you. That is.
Mallory dropped, unfortunately.
I know. I was
Uh,
excited.
Me too. I just invited her back. Um, I sent her the live again and asked her to come back. We'll see if she comes back. Um,
Oh, she's back.
Mallory, hey,
Hello.
welcome back.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great. You have some comments on either what the panel has said or the prompt?
I mean, yeah. You guys obviously know my stance on this. We've had conversations about this, but it seems like every time someone comes in and decides to pick the man, it comes down to grape instead of, I guess not instead of, but any other situation. And it makes me wonder if a person would choose the bear over the certain chance that they would die, or sorry, be unalived, instead of being graped, in the sense where, they would have to live with being graped rather than just be unalived. Sorry. So that was my question. Do you guys think that that was the main thought process behind it? Is, a man can do certain terrible, horrible things to you when in reality, a bear could just unalive you?
I
Do you
would
think
like
that's most people's thought processes? Like,
I would like to let the ladies on the panel answer that first.
and after you go, Leahy, I'll go.
I can elaborate if it doesn't make sense.
No, you
No, it
made
does.
perfect sense.
I don't know.
Harley, do you have a response to that? It's okay if you don't.
No, I was actually asking what the question was. Sorry, I've been tuned out unless other Scottish lady has been speaking.
It's all right. One more time, Mallory.
So my question is as a woman,
Mhm.
are you picking the bear because the chance of just being unalived is higher or lower? I don't know the percentages, whatever. Would you rather be unalived by a bear, or would you rather be graped by a man? Basically is my question.
They are.
You would rather lose your life?
As someone who has had SA my entire life since I wasn't even a year old, yes, bear.
but you're still living, right? And
Sadly,
you're
but that's
still,
not due to choice, though. I've had multiple attempts that didn't work.
well, I'm sorry that you went through that, and I don't want you to think that I'm
Yeah,
not.
Harley, Mallory's cool. She
Yeah,
doesn't mean it. She doesn't mean anything bad by it. She's just
no, no.
honestly, I think that's
I'm
a
asking a genuine question. I don't know exactly what
I,
that's like, but that was just my question.
Yeah, don't worry. I didn't take it maliciously. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
Scottish people
yeah.
just sound very aggressive.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm just very blunt.
No, I'm saying Scottish people sound very aggressive.
Oh, I thought you were saying I was being aggressive. I was like,
No,
oh, I'm
sorry.
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 No, you're fine. I
So
guess it's just,
to be quite honest, Mallory, I think that's a great question. It's a really great question. Is like why the bear, right? Why is the bear chosen so frequently over the man? There's definitely a skew in the data set towards bear. I think what it is, uh, it's not as simple as would I rather be raped or would I rather be unalived. I think it's more along the lines of with the bear, it's more like a 50-50 kind of outcome. Either the bear is going to move on and not be interested, or it's going to probably unalive me, or at least try to eat me, and I'll be mostly unalived. Um, versus a man, like for me, obviously, I'm not a woman. I have to put on my empathy shoes here, but as a man, if I were walking around in the woods and I came across another man and he was like, hey, let me walk with you, I would instantly be sketched out completely. Like,
no, I fully agree.
yeah,
I definitely fully agree. I mean, I I wouldn't go as far as saying it's 50-50 with being either unalived by a bear or, the bear just walking away. It plays a lot into time of year, where you're at, things like that, obviously, and that plays into as well the man. Um, but yeah, that was just my main question because I see a lot of, these lives and it all comes back to grape. And for me, it's, I've had a lot of terrible, terrible things happen to me. And I'm not discrediting anyone that has ever had any bad things happen to them at all. But for me as a person, um, I would rather, go through the worst trials and tribulations and see through it and learn from it and grow from it, and continue my life, learning from it. That's why it was kind of a question to where I was seeing why people go back to I would rather be unalived than go through hardships.
And I want to say something. Some topics that have been brought up similar to this. Uh, I think the reason that they choose the bear most of the time is because the amount of possibilities with a man.
Right.
Because, I mean, he could grape you, but he could also take you and then put you through that torture multiple times, or
here,
just keep you locked up and stuff like that.
Right. No, and
and
I'm not discrediting that at all. I
here's
totally
another
understand. I
here's
totally
another angle
understand
for
where
you,
you
Mallory.
would.
Um, what if you encounter the guy and you're like, no, I'm okay, thanks, whatever, and then you go on your way. Uh, the guy is more likely to follow you than the bear, and you may not know it, right? You just don't know what the person wants. People have the ability to be deceptive.
Right.
Um,
I've never disagreed with that. Like definitely. I mean, I will say I'm not saying body language is always how it works. I'm not saying, obviously people are deceptive as a whole. Animals don't have the ability to be deceptive. That's a knowledge, something that you know. Um, but what I am saying is when it comes down to it, as a person, I'm trying to word it right where I'm not offending anyone or hurting anyone's feelings. I personally, not saying anyone should agree with me or disagree, whatever, I think that you should want to live through the bad things and grow through the bad things, whether it's losing a parent, losing family members, being raped, any trial or tribulation. You should want to have the drive to live. And it's sad to see people want to choose the bear just for the simple fact of knowing, okay, well, either I'm going to live or I'm just going to simply be unalived. And that truly makes me sad for our society. It really does.
Yeah, it's really sad that it's come down to so many women choosing the bear. And like, I'm a man, obviously, so I don't have to really deal with it. And that's kind of why we have these lives, to hold more men accountable for it. That way, hopefully, soon it can change and women won't be having to be afraid of men.
Right. And I
Real
think it's
quick,
going to take.
guys.
Oops, sorry.
You're good, Mallory. I just want to say one thing, and then I'll let you continue. Lancer, you said it's a very small percentage of men. Um, you should look into the secret Telegram chat that consisted of 70,000 men, talking about grape fantasies, talking about how to commit grape, sharing evidence of grape, and their methods behind that. And that's just the ones that they found. Like, that's just the one chat that they found out about. There's a whole lot more of them out there. The small percentage is just the ones that get caught, and even smaller percentage is the ones that get prosecuted.
And then even smaller percentages, the ones that get convicted. The last time we did this live, I brought up, I believe, 5 individual court cases that were dismissed because the victim was wearing red underwear, and they said that women only wear red underwear when they are expecting to um, be intimate, and
And
that's
then,
why the case was thrown out.
and then
Islander, welcome to the panel. Real quick, your age for TikTok purposes.
I'm 33. I'm 32, going to be 33 in a month.
Great, thank you. Happy birthday.
Thanks. Also, on top of those numbers, you got to at some point factor in the people like that come in to defend or not all men it and downplay, because that's another form of dismissing their trauma. That is another form of attack on them as well. If you're not willing to stand up against it, then you're a part of the problem. That's why they say all men.
And
And
I'm sure everybody, sorry, Kai, and then I'll let you go. I'm sure everybody has heard the phrase before, it's all men until it's no men. A lot of people get super sensitive about that and don't want to really look at what it actually means. It basically, that's what this prompt is saying. It's all men until it's no men. Until we all hold each other accountable and stop this shit, this is what the thought process is going to be. Sorry, Kai, go right ahead.
you're all good, Leahy. I wanted to add on top of that, uh, the court cases you brought up, it's a different one, but it's going viral right now. So this doctor, or not doctor, this young man studying to be a gynecologist admitted to raping a woman, and he got let free because the judge said he had a bright future. And not only did he admit to harming one, the job he's going to have is gonna put him in the position to do it to so many more people.
Yeah, I just saw that case the other day. Somebody sent it to me on Discord. I believe it was from the UK, and it's fucking disgusting. No, I've never seen the lives on here talking of men talking about not believing women until they have video evidence. That's fucked up. I also wanted to elaborate real quick on the all men until no men. That is not saying that every single man is a rapist. That's just saying that women have to take into account that it is a very good possibility, or a very high possibility, that they could be a rapist. And take that into consideration out of their own self-preservation.
You're at Six Flags amusement park. You're about to get on a roller coaster. 30% of the roller coasters at the park are defective and can't be ridden, yet 100% of them are open. Are you going to ride one of them?
That's a great analogy, Leahy. I also want to say something on what Rob said about the 70,000 men. Like you said, Rob, that's just a small amount of people that got caught. And also on YouTube, there's all dozens, hundreds of channels that catch people who do that to children, and all of them have hundreds of catches by themselves. Like, I watch 3 or 4 different channels, and all of them have over 400 catches from one channel. And it's insane that people still say it's such a small percent when, in the grand scheme of the population, it may be a small percent, but it also isn't. It's so common, and you're so likely to run across someone who is willing to or wanting to do that.
Yep.
It might
Everybody
be
that comes up in these lives with statistics, it's always convicted convictions from court cases. They
if
don't
we just
include
say
acquittals. They don't include just general reports. They don't include police reports. It is literally just convictions. Sorry, Islander, go ahead.
might be a small percentage of men that's convicted or whatever, but if you flip that table and ask how many women have these stories, it doesn't matter how small, because a large portion of women are being affected by that small number. And that's why it's also so important to take such a heavy, firm stance as a man against it. It's got to be snuffed out completely, because the amount of women that are being affected by that so-called small number is unacceptable.
Yeah. We So we do lives like this 5 nights a week. Sometimes a couple nights a week we'll do men's topics, but every single time we do a women's topic, whether it's this one or our topic from last night, just about every single woman that comes on our panel has a fucking story. Just about every woman that I know in my life has a story. It's unacceptable. Really, it fucking is. It is unacceptable. And as a man, we have to hold other men accountable. And you have to be willing to lose friendships over holding people accountable. And it doesn't just stop with, or it doesn't just end at grape.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's everything.
I challenge every man that wants to defend or make excuses one way or the other. I challenge every one of you to go to your closest, woman in your life and just ask for just one experience that she's had that she was terrified of, and really think about that. You go to anyone, go to your mother. I dare you, and it'll wake you up.
Yeah. There's been multiple stories shared just in this live. It's truly disgusting, and it's truly disgusting that so many women would feel so much more comfortable with a wild animal than they would another person. And the only person we can blame for that is the men doing this shit.
I have a question.
What's up?
So I saw your live the other day, and the prompt was talking about women dressing in a specific way, right?
Yes.
And it was saying basically, like, if you're thinking they're dressed like an SLUT, then you think like a rapist, right?
Yeah, that was our
So
topic last night.
yeah. So my question is why are they dressing like that? If they're not trying to get some form of attraction in a negative or in a positive way, why would they dress like that?
Birds of paradise are very pretty and they dance around in attractive
We're not,
dances. But
Mr.
does that
Leahy,
mean that I
I
should
I
hunt them?
respect what you have to say, but we're not talking about birds here. We're talking about human beings, and we're talking
Right.
about how men are right. Men, they look at women in a what? I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, in a
Sexual.
sexual form, right? Right.
Okay.
So going
So
back to it, I'm not saying that girls dressing like that are wanting it or are
Okay.
I'm not saying that at all. All I am saying is, why would they dress like that other than for the fact that they want either attention, for one, or for two, they don't care
What's
about their
wrong?
bodies.
What's wrong with wanting attention?
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but you can't get mad when you get negative attention, right?
Is it okay to answer this?
Hold up. If I can
Real quick, Kai,
Leahy,
sorry, 1 second. Catherine Viridian Witch in the chat did some hardcore research for us. 6 deadly bear attacks in the last 5 years, 425,000 SA victims per year in the last 5 years. Thought that was a fun fact. I apologize.
you're all good. And Leahy, correct me if I'm wrong. Mallory, can you look up the "What Were You Wearing" exhibit?
I don't need to, because it obviously, that's my point. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. That is literally my point. But as Mr. Leahy has said, in the past 5 years, it's been X amount of grape victims compared to X amount of bear deaths, right? Or bear unalivings, my bad, right? So when it comes down to it, if you really think about it, in the past 5 years, the amount of grape victims has raised because of what? Let's think about this, okay? Let's think
Because
about
men
what
don't
has
have
changed in the
self-control.
amount of 5 years.
Men don't have self-control, lack of
Men
accountability,
never
shitty
have.
parenting.
Men never have, right? They've never had self-control. It doesn't matter if they have great friends. Look at Dahmer, or great parents. Look at Dahmer.
Yeah. Are you
He didn't have
suggesting
amazing
that
parents. He didn't have amazing parents, but no, he had both parents in his life, right?
if
For
I could
X
ask
amount
a
of time.
question, are you suggesting that in the last 5 years, the way that women dress has become exceptionally more scantily clad than in history?
I mean, if you're wanting to put it simply, you could just say in the last 5 years, women have dressed more inappropriately, getting more attention drawn to themselves for unknown reasons.
Girl, I
And that
know you.
attention
Hold
is
on, I can't
drawn
hold my tongue
to.
anymore. Hold on, I can't hold my tongue anymore. You're out here victim blaming whole women for the way that they're dressed when they should be able to walk around naked and no man ever put their hands
No,
on them ever
no,
unless it's
goodness,
asked for.
no.
But you're
That
here.
that's
No, no, no,
illegal,
no, no, no.
man.
You're here blaming women for the clothes that they wear. You're up here as part of the problem. You have shown yourself as part of the problem.
Have you ever looked at a man and said, "Oh, he's attractive"?
Yeah, saying that a man is attractive in my head and forcing myself onto them, slapping their ass, making insinuations, catcalling, or making them
You realize
uncomfortable.
women do
I
that
have
as well,
never
man.
done. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself if you find someone attractive. But making someone uncomfortable, unwanted advances, no, I have never and would never do that to somebody.
Women do that to men nowadays too. And if you don't
Not
see that,
nowhere
then
near. The whole
obviously you're
point
blind
is
to
not
it.
women. The whole point is that men are the ones who are not being held accountable and holding
Men
each
can
other
be
accountable,
graped too,
holding each
Miss Ma'am.
and far less than women. Far less. That's
Oh
what's
yes,
funny is
far
you guys,
less,
the ones that make
obviously.
excuses, the ones that make excuses always bring up women. When we're
I've
not
never
talking
disagreed.
about women,
I have
because it's
never
not women
disagreed
who are
that
doing it out here every fucking day. All day.
I'm just saying
No, I'm
men
just saying you're
can be
making
graped
excuses and you
too,
totally
ma'am.
victim blamed and put it on women. I don't care if
I
she's
am
walking
not
around
putting
naked.
it on
If
women. I
she
am saying
did
that
not
Real
I'm
want
quick,
those
saying
real quick
advances, she
panel, real
shouldn't
quick
get them.
panel, real quick panel. Rob, could you make Kai big screen?
So,
I
Mallory,
have seen all of these pictures. Trust me, I have
No,
seen
I know.
all of
It's
them.
okay. It's all right. Kai's out here doing the hard work. Y'all
so
continue your conversation, and we'll let Kai continue his show while you're talking. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. All I am saying is grape has become more common nowadays. I am not discrediting anyone in the past for what they have worn or even now for what they wear. All I am saying is there has to be something that has increased the amount of grape since, I mean, go look at statistics, right?
You're still making excuses, Mallory.
I
You're
am
still
not
trying to
making
say,
excuses for grape.
I'm
I
not
am not
victim
making
blaming,
excuses,
but
ma'am.
so the word but throws out everything you said, but this is really what I mean.
Well, so Mallory, okay, so you're saying that, and
There has to
please
be
stop.
there has to be a component that has
Hold on.
raised grape.
It's not
There has to be a
clothes.
component.
Let me try to fly a
And
plane
what
here.
is justifiable? What is justifiable that has changed in the past 5 to 10 years, right? Clothing has changed in the past 5 to 10 years.
Okay,
Women are wearing
great.
less and less clothing.
Hold on.
Correct.
So
Great.
I was raped by my grandpa when I was 3. Was I wearing the wrong clothes then?
Obviously not. You were a child.
Hold on. Okay, so that's what I was about to ask you, Mallory. So you are saying that if in the last 5 years, if women would have dressed more modestly, then there would have been less grapes. Is that what you're saying? That you just
I am
confirm
saying
that?
that there is a component that has raised grape assaults. I am not saying for a fact it is clothing.
It's
All I
men's
am
lack of being
stating,
held accountable.
can you please let me finish, Miss
No,
Vanessa?
because you're
Please.
victim blaming, and I'm so sick of hearing it.
Can you please let me finish? All I am saying is something has changed within the past 5 to 10 years. I am saying specifically clothing as one thing has changed. I'm not saying that that is the problem whatsoever.
I mean,
All I have said is that is
Kai,
a major component.
just look at
that
Kai's
has
screen,
changed.
Mallory. Just look at
Yes,
Kai's
and I
screen while
understand
you're
that.
talking.
When were those examples established? Please. Like, I would love to know.
So, Mallory, do you think that it could not possibly be that more women are coming forward about it?
Oh, they definitely are. They feel more comfortable nowadays. People are expressing themselves more nowadays, and I'm so grateful for it. Yes, our system is failing our women. Agreed. Yes, our system is failing everyone that goes out to seek help. I agree with that. All I am saying is something has changed within the past 5 to 10 years, and it is up to everyone, including women, to notice that and or help change
Women
that.
aren't scared anymore. That's what's changed. We're reporting it more often, but still not being believed. There was a 12-year-old girl being raped by her dad. The police tried to say, oh, you got in trouble, you got grounded. The girl had to go back and be raped again to get proof so that they would believe her. So this has nothing to do with clothes. You are making it about clothes.
Ma'am,
Hold on, ma'am.
You're failing.
You're making excuses for men who do this by saying it's the clothes. You are making it women's fault. That is my problem with you.
Can I elaborate more so you can understand where I'm coming from, please? All I am saying is that is a minor thing that has changed over the past 5 to 10 years. I am not saying it is what specifically they are wearing that caused them to be raped. I am saying something has changed and or some things have changed over the course of 5 to 10 years to where more people, more women, more men are coming out about grape. I am saying as a society, women have been dressing less modest. I am not saying that is why grape victims are more common. I am not saying what they wore is why they were raped. Not whatsoever.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did out of your own mouth. Basically said they asked for
I
it.
just elaborated for you, right? I just explained what I meant. You took what I said and ran with it. That is not what I meant. I elaborated for you.
Mallory, I brought up the statistic that one of our commenters put in the comments, and then you said, yes, exactly what Mr. Leahy just said, but we've got to recognize that women are dressing whatever words you want to use for it. So, like, yes, you literally did just say that. I have to ask you at this point. I have to ask you at this point, Mallory. Do you actually believe what you're saying, or are you playing the devil's advocate right now?
Oh, I'm definitely playing the devil's advocate. I agree with what I am saying, and I believe with what I'm saying. I believe
devil's advocate. You fully believe what you say. So that's not playing devil's advocate.
No, I'm definitely playing devil's advocate. I can see both sides.
The advocate is saying, I don't believe this, but let's just say if it was this way. No, Mallory, you stand 10 toes down on what you
Vanessa, you don't know what devil's advocate clearly is.
No, you don't.
No, you don't, Mallory. I'm asking you in terms of this live right now. Do you actually believe what you're saying, or are you on the live as a devil's advocate?
Real quick, Harley wants to say something. She's been waiting real patiently.
So I was just gonna say that it's not what anyone's wearing or doing or anything along those lines that's made the rapist issue more common, as I'll say. It's the rapists themselves that are now becoming way too comfortable in doing what they're doing because women were quiet for so long.
So, Mallory, what about this example I have showing right now?
She already asked you, Kai, when these examples were established, so she obviously doesn't respect that exhibit.
So, this one is
I have seen that exhibit. I've seen all of it, right? Early 2000s
If we all
is
dress
literally what it
modestly,
says,
if we
right?
all dress modestly, will that stop rape?
No, obviously not. Grape
so
will
That's not
always
the answer. So then that's not the answer.
grape will always be a thing, unfortunately. Hopefully, I'm saying hopefully everyone will hear me. Hopefully, everyone in the future, everyone now, for the future, will change things to where it is not a part of our culture.
That'll never
I
be,
agree.
because
I agree.
like
Hopefully,
you
yes.
make excuses for men like that.
I am
Are-
not, man, I'm not making excuses. I am not saying it is okay whatsoever.
Mallory, are you saying that if women dressed more modestly, there will be less grapes? Yes or no?
No,
Okay, then at this point, I do not understand your argument. I don't understand why you brought this up in the first place,
I
why you
was
said that.
I was saying, as an example, something has changed over the past 5 to 10 years. For an example, women dressing less modestly. That was an example. That was
It's a shit example.
It
That
is
is
a shit example.
fucking terrible example.
But when it comes down to it, you see most girls out at a bar getting hammered in skin tight clothing with literally
that makes it their
nothing
fault.
showing for it, right? Literally showing
None of that makes it
every
their
bit
fault.
in piece. They get graped, right? And then they get mad. I understand. I
There it is
understand that it
right
is
there.
not
It is
okay. It
right
is not
there.
okay.
So you're saying
Oh my god.
It is
Hold up.
not
Go,
okay.
girl. I can't
Oh
with
my
you no
God,
more.
Lord.
Fuck on for a
What?
second.
I can't even finish.
No, you
can't.
can't finish.
Clearly.
You said that they wear skin tight clothes, go to the bar and get drunk, and then get raped, and then get upset about it.
They deserve it. Are
That
you
is
Yeah.
fucking
fucking kidding
victim
me?
I'm not
blaming.
saying they deserve it. I
You
am
literally
not saying
basically
they
just
deserve
said
it.
all that.
I am not
Holy
saying they deserve it.
fuck.
I am not saying they deserve it. All I am saying is it drew attention towards themselves, right?
That is
And then they
victim
get mad
blaming.
that they get negative attention. I'm not
Fucking ain't
saying
right we get mad, because I don't care if they're walking around shit-faced and naked. That gives no man any right to put his hands on her.
Mallory, read the comments. Read the comments. Like, scroll
Condescending
up
and
and read all
so
those comments.
disingenuous. That I'm happy for you if it's never happened in your life, but for you to go around and blame women for what they're doing outside, for what a man decides to do, is disgusting. Because I don't care if she's drunk, running around naked in the streets. If a man puts his hands on her, he needs to go to prison. Nobody deserves that. Vice versa for men, but their clothes and their actions do not warrant victimization.
And like somebody said, negative attention is not the same as grape.
Aye, I'm going to be honest with you. See the clothes that she's actually shown. That's minor to what they wear in Scotland. They wear in Scotland to go to school with a blazer on that's longer than their skirts.
You can't pin that all on the guy.
The bum cheeks are hanging out totally, and that's what's going with. And guess what? See if your kid doesn't go with a longer skirt on down to the knees, she'll get bullied. She'll get bullied because she's got a long skirt on and she's not part of the crowd. Everybody is wrong about with skirts way up their bum, it's like shorts with a skirt. And that's
Miss Brightside, hold on a second. Mallory, is there somebody with you? Did I just hear somebody say you can't blame that all on the man? It looked like your box lit up.
See, I can turn my mic on if you want. There's nobody hearing me. It's only me. I'm only hearing myself. No, but you can't blame it on a man. I said to Erin, you can't blame it on a man. Somebody
Oh,
could lie there
you said
naked.
that. You
I
said
said,
that, Miss Brightside,
yes,
or
I said that a child could lie there naked. A man still shouldn't have touched that. Should not touch a child.
no. Hold on a second. Hold on. Everybody, quiet. 1 second.
I did
Mallory,
say a child could lie there
Miss
naked. A
Brightside.
man, right?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I swear I saw your box light up, Mallory, and I heard a male's voice say, "You can't blame that all on the man." Did I hear that, or am I tripping?
You're definitely tripping.
I
Okay.
did hear a man say that, but I don't know whose box it came from.
I have no fucking idea. That was not my box.
All right. I just want to say something real fast. I'm trying to find an actual study on this, but a volunteer victim advocate saying that rape isn't even about the act itself, about SMETs, and most of them have, or plenty of them have willing partners and access to regular SMETs, and that they don't care if you're wearing a coat, pajamas, crop top, whatever.
Mallory,
They
is it Rudy? Are you hanging out with Rudy right now? Because you have one supporter in the chat. One. And it's Rudy. Is that who I heard?
Oh, goodness. I don't even know. I haven't even been reading the comments.
Mm-hmm.
I have no
Okay.
idea who Rudy
You
is.
probably
You should
should.
be. You should be.
Suspicious.
Kai, so
I
what
don't.
Kai
I have
was
no
saying,
idea. Look. You can literally look and see if I'm following
No,
Rudy
so
or
I just
whatever.
want to
Like
I just want to hear that person's opinion. If that person is in anyone's box at the moment and on this panel, I want to hear the opinion. You can't blame that all on the man. I would
Oh,
love
good.
to hear more about
I
that.
never ever once said that. I
No, I
never
didn't.
once
I
said
know
that.
it wasn't you. It wasn't your voice. It was a man that said that. I heard that, and I'm dying to talk to him.
So what Kai was trying to say is it's not usually about the clothes. It's a power and a control thing. It doesn't matter what the fuck somebody's wearing. It's all about power and control. And
No,
Is that
I
that
have
has
agreed. I
changed-
have literally agreed with that same thing, Rob, since day one. All I
but
was saying was
But if that
something
same
has
scenario
changed.
happened at
Vanessa,
home, would it be
please
her
let me
fault?
finish, babe.
I just want to
Babe,
know
please let me
because
finish.
I want to know if the same scenario happened at home, would it be her
Please
fault?
let me finish. All I have said was something has changed. Looking at society now, clothing has changed. I am not saying that is why grape has gone up. The percentages, I have not said that is why. I said that could play a part into it. I am not saying that it is okay for men to grape women because of what they wear. I have never, ever once said that, nor
you're
have I
basically
implied
saying they
that. So
asked
do
for it.
not
You said they
make.
asked for it.
I never once said they asked for it.
So,
Do not
hold
put
on.
words in my mouth. I
Hold on.
never once said that, man.
Hold on.
That
So,
Said-
that
technically,
makes me
she's-
real mad. I never once said
Hold
that.
on. Hold on.
Hold on. So-
technically, she said they can't get mad about it, Vanessa. Sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
so
Sorry, they can't get mad.
I
No,
said
no,
they
hold
can't
on.
get
But,
mad
hold
at
on, hold on,
negative
hold on.
attention.
Guys, you can't talk. You can't overtalk the host, even though I just did. You can't do that. Sorry, Rob.
So the thing that has changed over the last 5 to 10 years is not as many victims are encouraged to stay silent about it. There's more people reporting it. And you said if a woman goes to a bar and gets shit-faced and is wearing skin-tight clothes and gets raped, then they get mad about it, or they can't get mad about it. That's basically saying that that's their fault for getting shit-faced and wearing skin-tight clothes. So in a roundabout way, yes, you did say basically they brought it upon themselves.
And if I can chip in real fast, you said that because of how, okay, let me think actually. You said that clothing has changed in the past 20 years and it's gone up since then, and that directly implies that it's on clothing. And also what you said about walking out of a bar drunk, like you've definitely,
I said wasted, like absolutely obliterated.
Yeah, and you also
Is what
said
I meant.
most women. You said most women do that.
A
yeah,
lot of women do that. I
you're,
can guarantee you, vast majority of the people in this live have walked out of a bar wasted off their butt. I can guarantee you.
yeah, but you've also called grape negative attention and that they can't
It
get mad
is.
at negative. Okay,
Mad.
that's complete
It's not
BS.
positive attention, is it?
There's a
It's
difference between grape and negative attention. Grape is grape. Negative attention is negative attention.
What is
negative
negative attention then?
attention would
Honey,
be
do you not
me.
see
Can
that you
you
are
guys
up here
define
making
negative attention?
excuses? Do
I
you not
can.
hear yourself
Hold
when you
on.
speak?
Hold on, Vanessa. Negative attention would be me catcalling you, not me walking up and deciding I want to grape you. There's a huge difference.
Agreed. Doesn't
How the
mean
fuck can
doesn't
you
mean
agree
you're
when you
not
just said
drawing.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ?
Okay, what I am trying to get at is you draw certain attention to yourself, correct? You present yourself as such, correct?
Sure.
Okay. So if you present yourself as a 304, right? Or a 403, whatever it's called, you're going to get the attention from people that view you as such, right?
If she wants to be a 304, she chooses what men can touch her and what men don't. You're still
Agreed. Agreed, but you're
sadly
still
making
getting attention
excuses.
from
You're
those
still
crappy
sadly
men.
making excuses for men by blaming women if a man does that to her. What is your problem, girl?
Okay, what if she was sober then? What if she was sober and she was
I
dressing
believe
like
that no man should touch any woman, regardless if she's wearing a potato sack, a bathing suit, or walking around naked. Shit-faced or not, no man, unless invited, and if she's shit-faced, he should not be invited. He should know
No,
better. That
I
consent
agree.
is
I
not
agree.
there
I
to
agree
keep his
that they
fucking hands to
should
himself.
never.
No, you
They
don't
should
agree.
never.
No, you don't agree. You are blaming women. That
No,
is the problem.
I am simply saying no woman ever deserves to have a man's hands on her without her consent. I have never talked about consent. All I have said was she was going to get negative attention and or potentially have the
Hold on.
worst of the
Negative
worst.
attention and
Vanessa,
physical
please
harm
let me
are not the
finish,
same
ma'am.
things.
Ma'am, please let me finish. I said she was going to get negative attention and or have the worst of the worst, grape, unalived, whatever.
Blaming her for their
I am not-
actions is what you're
I am
doing.
not
Hold on a second.
blaming.
Hold on 1 second, Mallory. Vanessa, let Mallory land her plane. We're trying to be as respectful as we can. We understand this one's heated, but let her finish and then you can speak, okay?
I don't even know where I was at.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest. I'm not sure where you're going with this or why you keep digging the hole. I have a question. The first time you came across our live, I'm pretty sure it was the same. You know what? I think it was the Sloot Grapist one. And
No,
you
it
said
was
the
the same
same,
topic.
No, it was this one.
Okay.
It was this exact same prompt.
and you
Yeah,
said
like
the
the
same
exact same
things,
way.
and you got flamed in the chat and by the panel, and like you might be thinking about this a little bit differently, but clearly not. You've doubled down. I am really confused at this point. I don't understand Why? What are you trying to justify? Like, what are you trying to win with these statements? Because all you're doing is victim blaming. That's it.
I am simply trying to explain that as a woman, if I'm walking out in public, stone cold sober, drunk, whatever, dressed as a 304, I'm going to get negative attention. Okay? That is all I've said.
Hello.
So before you even start, thank you. Please, thank you. That, therefore, saying that does not mean it is okay. I'm not saying it is okay for a man to lay hands on a woman in any negative form. But you as a person are attracting negative attention. I am not saying it was anyone's fault for dressing in any certain way.
Okay.
For
Okay. I'm gonna interrupt.
Please don't shush me like that, ma'am. If you want to talk, you can talk.
Okay.
Yep.
But
I
please
got a
So
question
real,
though. So
that
if
was
your
very
quick.
rude.
mom, if your
Hold
mom went
on.
out to the
Hold
bar
on a
and
second.
she got
Hold on,
drunk and
Vanessa.
she got raped, does she
Vanessa.
deserve
Hold
that?
on, Vanessa.
Vanessa. Hold on one second. Your name, your age for TikTok purposes, please.
Okay, wonderful. My name is also Vanessa. I'll be really transparent on this. I am 27 years old. I have a bachelor's in psychology and I work with victims of assault as well as pediatric care, that is intensive unit, with victims of sexual natures of those things. So that's my background, that's my profession. I make a living working with these people. Mallory, please tell me you're staying here because this isn't just a woman's issue and this is a man's issue. What you had said isn't victim blaming. We're not going to put some socially constructed vernacular put in place by people to have a better understanding. I'm not going to layman's term this. I'm going to go back. We'll put a trigger warning on this. Any of you and stuff that are still dealing with COVID, I'm so sorry. The 4 years in total that COVID was around, there was actually a lull in sexual assault. Doesn't mean it wasn't happening, but those numbers dropped drastically. And we could kind of understand and stuff that it was because people were staying inside, they weren't going out, they weren't doing as risque behavior. It has nothing to do with the 304. Okay, we're not OnlyFansing this shit, because what is OnlyFans? Pardon my French. That's all online. Okay. You hear of these, we're not going to infantilize either. This isn't Hollywood. And you come off very Hollywood to me. You seem like you watch a lot of TV and you don't really have the academics or the knowledge on this. Some of the statistics being spread in this is also disinformation because those statistics would reflect from 2020 that sexual assault, rape on men and women have gone down. If you notice and stuff with the statistics are never going to be ethnicity or gender geared. We can always say with statistics, we can find people in statistics, but they're not. This portion of women are. It's not propaganda, because I'm not going to go into that. But if you've never taken a statistics class, they're outliers. Okay? It has nothing to do with clothing. If you haven't gone to university, there are people that during rush week, they will run around naked. That's just public indecency. Nobody is getting turned on, attracted to, because somebody is running around naked. That is such a myth. Let's stop normalizing that. Number two, if you don't know what POCD is pedophilic or parental OCD. Most of the stuff that you're talking about, you mentioned something about culture. That is so disgusting to me. I dislike Americans that bring up culture because usually in stuff there's nothing that states anything in any culture that this is okay or that's okay. One of domination, one isn't. That's so not correct. So not correct. So not correct. Hypersexualization is a shame-based thing. Women aren't covering up because they're worried about the black guy or the big white guy or
Your
the
name,
trans person.
your
Yes.
name, real quick. Sorry. Could you please use TikTok safe language? So you have to be creative with your words. So if you want to say the S word, you could say schmexual, for example.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I
Fair
know
enough.
it's bullshit. I'm so sorry, but we're just trying to not get the live taken down.
Okay. So essay, when you mention schmexual abuse, you're just using that vernacular. That's it. You're just using that acronym. Schmexual aggression is what you're actually debating. Your whole debate is about the aggression. Here's a scenario, and this is actually a lot more common than people realize against men or women. You can have a married couple, not even a married couple, a person that's up in a heterosexual relationship. They go out and have too many drinks, and all of a sudden somebody wants to get spicy, and guess what ends up happening? The man or the woman, it gets a little bit too rough. There's going to be, which is going to get reported in the hospital as consensual sexual aggression. If you don't work in a hospital and you don't know anything about that, I'm sure there's some ER nurses that could totally be like, yeah, sometimes we're like, we tell you and stuff to put a base on it before you put it in. Oh, where'd she go? What happened?
He left.
Just wanted to apologize to everybody because she had my blood boiling, and I know I should have kept on mute, but I was screaming at my phone.
It's all good, Vanessa. Honestly, it was hard. It's hard for me too because, like I said, we've had Mallory up on the panel before. Yeah, it's not the first time. And the craziest thing is, she came up. She said the same things last time. Got flamed in the chat, and then came up again and apologized and was like demonstrating that her thought process on the whole thing was changing. And then now we clearly see. I mean, Rob said it best. I don't think it's TikTok safe, but great comment there, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, since I read her comment, it's not rambling. It's giving information, Mallory.
Leahy said to let her land her plane. That wasn't landing a plane. That was a kamikaze pilot. That was a fucking plane crash.
Anyways, since she's off, I appreciate you guys letting me come up. If you're going to bring statistics in it, please just use things from 2020.
There's a woman named Lizzie in the chat who says that she agrees with her that she wasn't wrong. So I don't know if she wants to come up and talk about it.
Lizzie,
come on
up.
Yeah.
Really quick, can I quickly quote Mallory?
Get it.
Her exact words were, "They get graped and then get mad." I literally wrote it down so I wasn't wrong.
Mad you got graped. You asked for it. Look what you were wearing. Look how many drinks you had.
That is literally what she said. Like, literally what she said in other words. So I guess figuratively, if you want to be that guy and a stickler about it. But that's what she was saying. That's what I was trying to get her to realize she was saying. What is the person who agrees with Mallory? What's their name?
I don't know. Mallory's still in the comments.
Hold on. I'll tag it right now in the chat because it's like, she's not wrong, Vanessa. You wouldn't let her speak. Oh, I let her speak far enough.
She said a Musa.
Okay. She said, Mallory said, "Bah ha ha, only came up to flame me, not spread awareness." It's like, you're the only one that didn't get the awareness. Like, just scroll through the chat.
So she gets graped wearing her, Mormon outfit, and then all of a sudden it's not about clothes anymore.
We don't wish that on anyone. I get what you mean, though. I understand what you're saying, but we do not wish that on anyone.
Absolutely not, but the clothes has nothing to do with it. That's just my whole point. I just can't stand that she's making excuses. That's my problem.
So Lizzie said that she will not come up. She lost her voice from drinking last night.
Oh, well, Mallory, your friend, maybe was at the bar doing what you suggested, so I guess include her in your study.
My confusion is how are you gonna fucking hop off the panel and then hop in the comments and fucking say shit?
You're back.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I can invite her, but she would have to accept it.
I was having a lot of fun with Vanessa having words with her because I feel like Vanessa was really putting her in her place.
And then turns around and says exactly that.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, but
let's throw everything out before that. This is what I really said.
Oh yeah, I can't even invite her.
She's not in here anymore.
She left.
See, when she was mentioning the clothes and asking why women dress, with less clothes on, I was like, well, when I'm an old lady, I would like to remember that I looked good.
I have questions about that dude that was with her. I want to know who that is, and I want to
Yeah,
know why he said what he said.
I
I
have
I
no
know what I
doubt that.
fucking saw. I sound like I saw a UFO, but I know what I saw.
No, dude, I definitely heard it. I definitely heard a dude say, "You can't put that all on the man." Like, fucking yeah, you can have some fucking self control. And she's like, "Men have never
Can
had
you
self
let?
control."
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. Alexi McGuire. She says she has
Hi,
different,
it's
but
me.
not.
He
Okay,
She's
added me
right
to
here.
it.
go ahead,
Real
girl.
quick for TikTok, can you state your age, please?
Yeah, 26.
Thank you. And also, real quick, Mrs. Brightside said that that was not her that had a man in the background, so it had to have been Mallory because they were the only
So,
two that were unmuted.
Say, because my husband's here, but I was muted, so I know it wasn't him because he's sitting here going, "It doesn't matter what she wears."
so I do have a really quick little statement to make in regards to both Mallory and Lizzie. Sorry about my voice. I've been sick as ever for like the past week. But so Lizzie, I keep seeing you saying in the comments that we're supposed to quote unquote keep safe. Just to touch on that. So while I was active duty, I was a SAPR representative. So Navy side, same thing as the Army side, but sharp. So SA victim advocate, things of that nature. Along with that, I was SA'd while active duty with people that I trusted, with people that I was with every day in and out in a specific work zone where it was just us. We trusted each other. We were the ones who had each other's back. So whenever you're saying we're supposed to keep safe, the person that was in my group supposed to keep me safe is the one that did it while we were out at a bar. And then when we came back, he proceeded to continue. My wife was in the other room, had no clue. Me being with the people that I felt the safest with did not change anything about his actions or his intent. Saying that it's relying on women to keep safe does not take away the factor of men or women who are are perpetrators, basically. It does not take away their desire to do those things or the action that they do. So, sorry, I just needed to put that out there because this has been a completely just roundabout thing with both Mallory and Lizzie. And I'm sorry, it's not about women keeping safe. It's about others understanding their rights and the fact that you don't have a right to our bodies, no matter who you are.
Saying that women get attacked far less than men in every fashion.
The
Or
fuck? Hey, provide a source for that. Give me
to
some
keep
credible.
crying.
And even if men are getting attacked, as you say, more than women, you still have to take into account who is perpetrating. Who is the actual perpetrator in that situation? And yes, I'm not saying women don't commit those acts. However, whenever you look at the statistics, since y'all want to say statistics so much, even though statistics can be skewed for whoever's personal narrative, their numbers can be fudged. It's just a thing. But to sit there and say that, hey, men are facing this, yes, they are. And guess what? They have the utmost support in getting out of that situation, having the support. But that doesn't mean that we're taking away from the issues that women face daily.
Completely agreed on that. Bridger, is it Bridger Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bridger Smith, welcome to the panel. Your age for TikTok purposes.
Uh, thank you, Vanessa.
Go ahead, Bridger.
don't know if I can speak. I can't speak. Oh, I can't speak now. I'm not going to speak now.
Yeah,
No, tag
we
what the
can hear
girl
you.
said. What the girl said. It doesn't
Sorry,
matter who you are. It doesn't
I'm
matter
here.
who you are. You're a man or you're a woman. Everybody is entitled to his own body. Man or a woman. And came as a child, which I tried to say earlier. A child could lie there naked. A
I
man
didn't
is just not
understand a
going to touch
word
that
that
child.
she said.
He's still not touch that child.
You're
Lie there
good,
with no
Bridger.
problem whatsoever. You don't touch a child. It's
Of course, everyone
got to
agrees
be
on that.
high level. No, you should be hung and shamed. You should be hung and shamed. In fact, you got a death sentence if you ask me. Touch a child, you got a death sentence. Don't ever touch a child. For me, you got about 2 years and you got in a year and a half. A child's to live that for the rest of its life. What you've done with it.
I'm sorry, Miss Brightside. I had to drop you because you used some forbidden words, and in order to keep the live going, we have to drop you. You're more than welcome to request back up if you want to come back on the panel. Bridger Smith, welcome to the panel. Thanks for being patient.
Yeah, you asked for my age. It was 24.
Appreciate it.
Yep. I'm not trying to agree with everything that Mallory was saying, but I think I get the point that she was getting at. Not to say that anything like grape is right, if that makes sense. Like across the board, grape isn't like ever excusable. You know, hang him, let him string, shoot him. I don't give a shit. You know, that's the way I view it.
TikTok safe.
That's the way I view it.
TikTok safe language, please, sir.
Sorry.
It's all good, man.
That's the way that I view it. I think the point that she was getting at was that, you know, say you were at a bar and you let yourself get, which it's all under self-control, you know, drank too much to the point where you didn't know, like we've all been blackout drunk before. Is that TikTok safe? I don't know.
I think so. I don't know. Yeah, under the influence. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
under like you're severely under the influence to the point where you black out. You know, then who's to say what you said? Because I've seen blackout drunk people speak completely coherent. You know, and who's to say that that isn't the situation that occurred?
Because if they didn't consent when they were sober, then it's not consensual when they're under the influence.
And also, as the person who
drunk people can have sex then?
So, as a person who was severely inebriated, we'll go with that. My wife in the other room, me with a coworker who was tight as ever, had stayed the night at my house multiple times. We were stationed together, we deployed together. Him doing what he did is not justifiable by the fact that we went out that night. And by you saying that, hey, just because you're out, you have taken in X substance, whatever the case may be, become severely inebriated, that does not justify or vindicate in any way anyone's actions. It's not to say that, hey, you can't have fun time while you're intoxicated.
Inebriated. But yeah.
Intoxicated, inebriated, same concept.
Yeah, I'm using your word.
However, it's also a matter of consent, and if a person is to a position where they cannot consent, you automatically have to step away.
And I'm
you
saying
have no right to step forward with it.
And I'm saying that I've seen blackout drunk people be completely coherent. So how is it up to you?
You ask the question. That is the most simple way. You ask the question.
Okay, I don't know about you,
the
but
people that are around them.
every time that I've had sex, I've never asked the question,
Language.
do you consent to it?
Okay, if I can repeat, Bridger.
It's never been a question. It's more like, oh yeah, you want this, I want this. Let's do this.
Exactly. You just said it. You want this, I want this.
Yeah.
Mutual consent given.
Yeah, and my point is when people are inebriated enough, to use your word, then that kind of goes out the window. Like it's not out the window, but I shouldn't have used that verbiage, but
So you're
I
you're
think it
talking,
also needs
Bridger.
to be taken into account. You're aware of how much they have taken in of whatever substance it
You're
may
watching
be.
every girl at the
For you
bar.
to step
How many
past
drinks
that,
she's had?
I'm paying attention if I plan on sleeping with that person. Yes. I worry about their
You're a lot
safety. I
different
take
than
that into
90% of the
consent
population.
or into
But
consideration. Pardon?
I said you're taking, you're different than 90% of the population because I'm not watching every girl that drinks at the bar.
I didn't say every girl. You said
The
the
girl that
person that you're
the
interested
girl,
in. I said, yeah.
yeah. And I'm saying that you hook up. Fuck it. You hook up.
And that's the issue. It's not just you hook up, F it. And that's where the
Well,
mindset has to be changed. You have to be aware of the
I'm
consent
not
given or
saying that.
unable to be
Obviously,
given.
I'm
That's
saying
what
that,
you
like,
just said, sir.
depending on what you're wearing, and depending on how much you drink, it's inviting a certain type of, like,
You're right. You're right. Here, I'll give you this. I'll play devil's advocate for a second. Let's say that I'm wearing a certain provocative dress
yes.
and I'm at the bar. I'm drinking like crazy. I am blackout. However, I'm completely functional because I'm a functional blackout.
Yeah.
Because, hey, been there, done that. Navy.
Yep.
It's given.
Yep.
But that does not, in turn, mean that I automatically want that because I am wearing a short dress, short shorts.
No, it
Hey,
doesn't
guess
mean
what?
you
Maybe
want
I
that.
feel good about myself because
People
I
don't
had a
go. People
long
don't go
week.
from drinking at a bar to straight to sex. Like, obviously, there's a conversation that
100%.
happens
Exactly. And
before
in that
that.
conversation, consent needs to be brought up, especially if there's a certain level of intoxication that is present. And if that's something that you have to take the initiative to bring into play, that's your responsibility as a person wanting to enter into that kind of react or interaction.
So, Bridger, you're telling us that you've never asked anything along the lines of like, hey, you want to take this to the next step or anything like that?
No, it's always been implied. And that's my point.
Oh,
When you're
okay.
drunk enough
Hold
that
up, hold up.
implication is already there.
No, hold up. It's consent isn't implied.
Yes, it
Eh,
is.
No,
100%.
if it's not a clear yes, it's not
It's
a yes,
implied.
it's a no. If it's a maybe, if it's a I don't know, it's a no. It is not implied.
Hold on, just one goddamn second.
Language.
Sorry, Bridger. Did
Yes.
you just say consent is implied?
In certain instances, yes.
No, dude.
Tell me how.
That's so
How is
wrong.
consent
No.
implied? It depends on the context of the situation, of course. Like, it depends on what situation you both are in.
Okay, so you're in a bar and we're going down that route. What implication could you get other than yes?
Through the
All right.
fucking conversation, like adults have.
You're in the woods and you come across a bear or Bridger Smith with consent is implied. Which would you rather come across? Holy crap.
What the bear?
No, you have to understand. I'm saying the context of it.
Okay,
No, bro, you're
you
saying
know
that
what?
consent is implied, and consent cannot be implied.
You're
Consent is
telling me
given.
every time you've had sex with a woman, you've asked her if this is what you want? Like, are you?
Yes,
simple,
dude.
are you okay
That
with
wording
this?
does come up.
A simple,
Okay.
are you okay with this? Not that fucking hard.
Okay.
I get a lot of men go brain dead when their dick gets hard, but it's fucking a very few words. Are you okay with this? I've been fucking with my wife for 7 years and I still fucking ask her.
Yeah, and I've been with my girlfriend for 4. So, like,
And
I don't
consent's
fucking-
implied?
All right.
Consent's implied because you've been with her for 4 years?
is consent implied? Is that what you just asked? Like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it through the speaker.
That's what you've been saying, is consent can be implied.
From her, of course.
From the person that you're with, just to clarify?
You know marital rape is a thing, right?
Thank you.
Of course I know that's a fucking thing.
Because certain people
based on the
consider that
context
it's
of like
implied
whatever
when it's not.
situation you're in, based on the context of whatever situation you're in, you know, like whatever led up to where, you know.
Dude, are you the guy that was in Mallory's live or in Mallory's fucking screen a second ago?
No, I'm just trying to understand like where this gets all fucking twisted up.
Okay, let me give you an example I was in. This happened. So me and my girlfriend were doing stuff, is what I'm gonna say. And I asked her, do you want to take this to the next stage? And she said, I don't know. That is not a yes. What you should do in that situation is zip up your pants, stop everything, and either talk to her, cuddle, whatever she is fine with. You do not go, well, she said, I don't know, and we're already in the middle of stuff. I'm implying that it's a yes.
No, that's not what implying mean. I'm saying implying from her perspective.
You and Mallory follow each
can
other.
determine
Mallory,
whether she wants it from her perspective, from your own.
Mallory, are you there? Mallory,
That doesn't make sense.
are you on speaker, Bridger? Mallory's there. I know it
Where's
for
on
sure.
speaker?
You guys follow each other.
I barely know how the fuck TikTok works.
You
But-
knew how it worked enough to join a live.
Yeah. It's about all I fucking figured out. Dude, I couldn't figure out how to mute or unmute myself. I was sitting there muted when he was asking me questions at first.
And
Like-
you've been on it long enough to have 164 followers.
Yeah, that's good.
Someone said he's following Mallory.
Yeah, they're following each other.
I feel like you guys are
Actually.
twisting what I'm saying to the point where
Wait,
it's
can I ask a question?
when I'm saying implied, I'm saying from her perspective. She's
Bridger, you've
implying
been
it.
speaking. I think Harley deserves a second to ask her question.
Sure.
Okay, so what does your partner do that implies that she's consenting to you?
Well, I'm not going to get into my personal bedroom life, but there's plenty of things that definitely imply it.
Does she say yes?
Does she say yes specifically, like the word yes?
Does she say yes, sure, of course, something enthusiastic?
No, but then again, enthusiasm is implied. When she wants sex, she wants fucking sex. Like, it's not fucking, like, we're not fucking building a watch here.
Okay, but what does she do that tells you that that is what she wants?
I'm not going to get into my personal bedroom life on her specific mannerisms on what she does when she wants sex. But there's specific things that she does as a person where I can tell that she wants more. If that's like,
So you
is that
assume-
fair enough? Like, what specifically do you want me to say? Yo, yeah, she grabs me.
Okay, so you're saying, if you don't mind, you're saying that consent is implied within your relationship, but by no means are you suggesting that when you go out to a bar and you see a girl dressed scantily drinking, consent is implied. You're not saying that, right?
No, I'm not saying that it's implied just based on what she's wearing. Okay. Actions. Okay. Her actions to you are what implies something further. Same thing
So
with
if she wants to dance
everyone
with me,
ever.
if
You
she
don't-
wants to dance with me and we're like grinding up on each
Yes,
other,
of course.
and stuff,
That doesn't mean like sex automatically, obviously, or rape. Rape. My bad.
you're good.
Automatically, like that. That's not what that implies.
But to you, does
Obviously.
it mean that there's a possibility of that at the end of the night, just because she danced with you?
Again, it depends on the context. Depends on, are you grinding? It depends on what, like Like,
Yeah, that's
when
what
you
I'm
do
saying.
it,
If you're
like,
dancing in a schmexual manner,
yeah.
do you believe that
Obviously,
implies that at the end of the night she
obviously you
won?
get your hopes up. Doesn't mean that you take it to the next. Sorry, frickin' take it to the next level. I don't know what
Oh,
TikTok.
you can say fuck and shit and damn and
Fuck,
piss
shit,
and
yeah.
all that stuff, whatever you want on in terms of that. However, if the term is socially charged in any kind of way, so you know,
Yeah, I don't
Pew
know.
yeah,
pews.
yeah,
You,
pew pews
do
for
you
example, great example.
do you understand what I'm saying though? Like it in
No,
every relationship ever,
No,
it's
not at all.
what is so hard to understand about what I'm saying?
A quick example, okay?
consent is
No,
implied.
no.
That's
Give
the
me a
hard part for me.
question that I can actually like that I can answer that like
What about consent is implied? Like, what part of consent is implied?
by implied I mean you have to know the context of the situation that you're in.
Okay, can I say something real fast?
Yep.
Alright, so you were saying how actions can also imply it, right? But actions can very easily be taken the wrong way. And that's where the line of consent is. Like, if someone takes it the wrong way and they go and do that, then all of a sudden they raped that person. And also, consent can be revoked. So, even in the middle of it, if they want to revoke it, but their actions aren't implying it, it's still at that point it's grape.
Not if you stop. But
Well, no shit.
Guys, can I quickly interrupt for a second? Someone just commented saying, well, I never got the word no said to me, so yeah, mainly because there's duct tape.
Wait, what?
What was the username on that one?
It was Shane something.
Shane.fm1 took a screenshot for you guys.
Thank you. He is now zucked. Get the fuck out of my life.
Sorry for
Bridger,
interrupting, guys. I just thought I should let you know.
No, you're
Appreciate
good.
that. Oh,
Bridger,
we'll
do
take.
you?
That's not the end of that, by the way, Harley. You'll be pleased to join the Discord. Anybody who's listening wants to join the Discord, go ahead and you can follow us on our accountability escapades after the live.
Yeah. Bridger, do you believe that consent can be revoked?
yes, of course. Obviously.
At any point?
Yeah. Like if the girl says no, you know.
So what if she says yes and then changes her mind after you've started?
Yeah, of course.
Good question. Why do you wait for a
It depends on
no?
what kind of no it is.
Why do you wait for a no
What the
before
fuck?
you say yes?
No, I shouldn't.
What the
I shouldn't
fuck?
say. I shouldn't say it
It
like
depends on what kind
What
of no
kind
it
of
is?
no it is?
No,
Did you seriously just fucking say that?
I did, but I should explain the context of what I'm
Holy
saying.
fuck.
Please do. Okay, please do explain that.
Okay, if you're like, everyone knows that there's a difference between like no, stop, done, boom, kaputs, you know, versus like, you know, like no, stop that, you know, like
So like CNC.
So
I mean,
Hold on.
You cannot
Hold
be
on.
serious.
Really quick. So like CNC is what you're referencing.
I don't know what CNC is, but
It's
It's
Thank you.
great.
don't know what the hell that is. But
So it's
I'm saying it depends on the
K-I-N-K.
situation.
I don't know if I can say
Yes.
that word.
Of course, if somebody says no, that means no. Done.
Okay, but I'm saying whenever you're saying when they're saying it in the manner that you just stated, are you referencing that specific type of situation where CNC is in play?
he doesn't even know what it is.
Consensual non-consent.
Role play.
D-
Hey, this is my safe
I
word.
guess if that's what you want to
I
call it,
can
then
say
yes. I guess if
no,
that's
I
what
can
you
say
want to call it, then
XYZ,
yes.
but if I say
Like,
the safe word, we stop.
I've never heard the term before or known that it's been called that, but if that's what you want to call it, then yes. Like we're like, like, no, stop it. Like we're like,
But that's only acceptable whenever that's a conversation that has been had previously, because that is part of the KI and K culture. And that's a known situation where, hey, I may be into this, you may be into this, we can do this. But that's a conversation that takes place, because regardless, the second a no is dropped outside of that and you don't understand that, means, hey, we're done. Whether it's no or I don't know or
look, I
anything
can
that in
just
any
tell you,
way shows hesitation is a no.
yes, of course, and that right there is the delineator, is the hesitation. Okay, if so, a no, ha ha ha, is different than like a no, please stop, or no, done. Like no, stop. Like just people know the difference between no. Okay, that's why it's it's something that you like read the fucking room at, like every other adult does.
Well, within reason,
So,
because
really quick, I'm sorry to interrupt. Bleeding Gums, your comment saying CNC is for wannabe grapists. The only thing I'll say is, as a grape victim, it is also a way to reclaim that power, because it still stops the second that you say stop.
Yes, and I agree
No,
with that.
I'm not referencing you, Bridger. I promise. I was referencing
I
specifically
know.
Bleeding Gums.
I know.
Okay.
Look, I was agreeing with you that, like, stop means stop, no means no. But
yeah, but you have to be careful with that though, because I mean, me personally, I've playfully said no because I felt too intimidated to say no seriously.
Yeah. So, Bridger,
But how's the guy supposed to know that? That's my point.
You had that conversation beforehand, and if
Yeah,
that
dude,
conversation isn't had, the no is no.
Yes, but I'm saying, like, say you met a guy.
Ask.
How the fuck are you supposed to have the conversation?
Ask.
You
Use
take
your
that extra
words.
step because
be
you
an
value
adult.
that person.
You be an adult and have a fucking conversation.
Excuse me? Can I intercept, please? At some point. Okay. First off, for TikTok, I'm 41. So, just putting it out there. So, Bridger, I have a real life scenario. So, let's say you are out with a woman and you guys are drinking, or maybe she's drinking and you're not. I don't know. But she is clearly very, very inebriated. And you guys start out being, intimate or whatever while she's still somewhat coherent. But once you get back home and it progresses or whatever, and you notice that like she's sort of passing out every couple of seconds or so. She's not totally there. And she's not exactly saying no, but she's not giving any indication that she wants to proceed further, because she's literally passing out because she's blacking out because she's had too much to drink. And the guy continues to be intimate with her. What is that considered? Because she didn't say no, but that wasn't implied consent. Just because you started out being intimate, but the fact that she's literally passing out on your bed and you proceed to sleep with her, that is not implied consent. That is SA.
Yes,
that is
I know.
SA.
Just stop getting fucking all aggressive, dude. That's fucking rape.
TikTok safe language. Grapes. We like
Grapes,
fruit
yeah,
and
grapes,
TikTok
my bad.
Shop. You can buy grapes
Grapes,
on TikTok
yeah,
Shop.
grapes.
We love TikTok Shop.
Good grapes. Some of those red ones.
Yep. Okay, sorry, continue.
That's great. Okay. Not going to argue that one bit. But there's a lot of different types of blackout drunks. And there's some people who are completely coherent in what they're doing. And at that point, then what do you consider it? Because from a man's perspective, if a girl's hitting on him or, coming up to him, how is he supposed to know?
I asked.
Use your fucking words like a big boy.
I'm saying, how is he supposed to know? How is he
Ask,
supposed to
dude.
know?
Like straight
Use
up.
your words.
Ask. Holy shit.
And I'm saying
Honestly.
people are completely coherent. So what is, like, obviously, like, you can ask them, but they're still completely coherent, but they're still blacked out. They won't remember it in the morning.
Okay.
Bridger, can I ask you a
then you
question?
don't sleep with them. If they are
And this is why we
fucking,
choose the
And
bear.
again, how
if
do
you
you know? Because
if
I've
you
met
have a
people who are
doubt,
completely coherent,
if you
meaning you
have
can
a doubt
understand
in
every
your
single word that
mind,
they're saying. There's no indication that they've been drinking. Then how are you supposed to know that they're drunk? Even if you ask, you don't
how
know
about
that person's tolerance.
you can tell if somebody's fucking intoxicated, for
You
one,
keep it in your pants and go home.
and for two, maybe don't go to a bar looking for a hookup.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying that I do.
yeah, Bridger.
Okay.
Honestly,
No,
that conversation is called risk mitigation, and we can have that conversation if you want to. But yeah, dude, if somebody is smashed,
no.
obviously that's
I
not a
am the
situation
biggest.
you want to get yourself into.
This is why I
You
said
should
from the
look
start
up
I'm
the
playing devil's
T
advocate
video on
because I
consent.
am the biggest risk mitigator in my life. I've been to a bar probably 4 or 5 times in my entire life, ever.
I've been to a bar once in my life, so that's risk
Yeah.
mitigation. Going to a
Yeah.
bar 4 or 5 times, not really risk mitigation when you're up here saying
4 or 5 times in 5 years. So
when you're up here saying
pretty
that
good.
if a person's blackout drunk and coherent, that you
Yeah,
have
and I've
no
been
way
with
of
my
knowing,
girlfriend for 4
don't
of
put
those
yourself in
years.
that fucking
So
position.
every single time I've been with
Don't put
my
yourself in
this
the
is why I said
position.
I'm playing devil's this is why I said I'm playing devil's advocate.
You didn't say that.
I've been with my girlfriend for 4 years, and I've been to a bar 5 times in my life. One time while I was single, didn't sleep with anyone. The last 4 times, me and her and a group of friends have went, and it's been perfectly fine. I've never been in the situation where I've been hit on by a girl like that. That's why I said I was playing devil's advocate, where, you know, putting up a hypothesis, whatever the fuck you want to call it, a possible situation on what could have happened.
So you're putting yourself in a grapist mindset.
No, not a grapist. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I said. You're putting yourself into that mindset to be able to take that stance, is what you're implying, right? Since we're
How
going
is
off
that a grapist mindset?
implications.
How is that a rapist mindset? Because
It's a grapist mindset to
Wait,
consider
somebody
that
in the
consent
chat
is
said you've been
implied
dating
just because
Mallory
someone's
for 4
drinking.
years? You've been dating Mallory for 4 years? Somebody said that in the chat. Is that true?
I don't know Mallory, but like
You follow her.
To Gary Chandler, playing devil's advocate isn't inherently wrong. It's great to get an outside viewpoint. However, while doing that, you also have to maintain your morals. And if your morals are that easy to waive, then that's something you need to consider within yourself.
and we don't go to fucking bars.
All right.
Me and my
You're
girl.
arguing that
You and
point.
Mallory, we. You said
That's the
we.
whole argument that you placed.
Really
I said
quick, Sassy.
me and
Hold
my
on a
girlfriend,
second.
we don't go to fucking bars.
You and
Ever.
Mallory don't go to bars. We understand. Sassy, welcome to the panel. Your age for TikTok purposes.
31.
Thank you very much. Do you have any comments?
I was just gonna ask, like, because like I'm not agreeing like with thingy, but you know, obviously he was on about like before the drinking, and he was on about if you're in a relationship. Like, I was gonna ask, did he mean like naturally? Do you know when you guys were saying you still ask for consent, but obviously when you're an adult and you do the devil's tango, let's say, sometimes it happens naturally. Is that what he
Horizontal tango, yeah.
was? That what you was trying to say? That it happens naturally?
I guess I'm confused on what your question is.
When you was talking about when you're in a relationship and you guys were doing the devil's tango, let's say, did you mean naturally when you said you don't always ask for consent? Do you mean like when it leads up to it and it happens?
Yes.
Right, okay. That's what I was going to ask. Because I get what these guys were saying, but at the same time I got what Bridger was saying, because obviously I've been in a relationship, and if like it happens naturally, I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, well, I didn't say yes. So I kind of get what you meant, but I just wondered.
That's where I was getting, like, that implied consent thing. Like,
right.
It can happen, you know, like it does happen in every relationship. And even without having a relationship, sometimes it can happen at a bar.
I don't get that, because I've only had 2 relationships and I wouldn't hook up with anyone just for hooking up. So
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. It's
I said
I'm not trying to be like misunderstanding.
I wouldn't hook up with anyone just randomly, like other people do.
Nor would I. Nor would I.
Hey, Bridget,
Like,
somebody saw your Facebook or Mallory's Facebook and said you guys are, in fact, in a relationship.
Yep, we definitely are. So that's congrats. on your
I
TikTok
fucking
results.
called that shit.
Tell her we said hi.
Why didn't you just say yes in the first place?
Why would you fucking lie about it? Like, are you ashamed? Is all the way
No,
she
because you
behaved
guys are
up
being
here?
super judgmental on a point that doesn't seem to get across.
Judgmental that we don't like rapists.
Sorry.
No, of course, everyone dislikes rapists, dude. I think they should hang. Bring back the guillotine. I don't give a shit.
So you're the guy. You're the guy that said, "Hold on a second. Hold on."
You're the guy
You're
that
the
said
guy.
you can't put it all on men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, it's very nice to get to talk to you. Now I understand where your opinions are coming from. Are you what's the movement called? Him too? Are you one of those guys?
The hell is that?
Playing dumb again.
No, it's an honest question. What the hell's a him too? Is that like the Me Too movement or whatever?
It's the converse of that.
Okay, yeah.
I
no,
feel like
definitely not
you'd align with it very well.
No, definitely not.
How old are you, Bridget?
24.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. They don't develop the brain properly until they're like at least 24. So
Sassy.
yes.
I'm 19. I'm younger than him.
Oh, I never said it. I never said you could be wrong. I was just asking. That's all.
Ageism. I'm just
No,
kidding.
I'm just saying, it's funny he's making these dumb comments at
Oh,
24.
So, quick question: is Bridget the guy in the background of Mallory when she was talking?
Yes.
Yes.
I hope so. Otherwise, that would imply that she's cheating on him.
Yeah, that would be really weird, wouldn't it?
That would suck, dude. Honestly, straight up,
That
pour
would
some
suck.
out for a homie. Dude, honestly, straight up, that was a shitty comment, dude. Shitty timing. You can't blame that all on men. Yeah, absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. Especially when you look at actual statistics from long spreads of time and you see that 80 to 90% of essays are committed by men. So yeah,
No, I'm
dude.
not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing that men are the general perpetrators of it. Okay, never have, never will. Disagree with that. Okay, men are, as you said, like 90% of the time, the perpetrators of SA. So, not disagreeing with that. I was saying context would help, which is why I was playing devil's advocate and saying that certain things in certain context sometimes.
How do disagreements between you and Mallory go? Because you both are very opinionated, and you both seem to need to be right, and you both seem to be willing to meet your demise on the hill per se. Do y'all's arguments go well?
Do me and Mal's?
Yeah.
I mean, they go like any argument does. I mean, we.
No,
try to
I'm not
understand
I'm not trying to poke holes at you,
No,
man.
no,
I'm
no,
serious.
no.
I'm just asking because
they
honestly,
go
I
well.
like you both.
They
Honestly,
go well.
I like you both, dude. Your opinions kind of suck a little bit. That's okay. That's why this space exists, so we can talk about it.
Opinions are like assholes. We all have them. They all stink.
100%, dude. You may think mine suck, dude, and that's okay. I am glad that Mallory came back. I am disappointed in you for lying. You should have just owned up, dude. We knew immediately.
Did you? No.
Yes, dude.
I'd rather have you guys be, at
Well,
least in the
I think it's also important to state that even if you weren't with Mallory, right, because that's what this is now leaning toward as an issue, even if you weren't with Mallory, the stance that you took is problematic in and of itself because you're automatically saying that a woman is responsible for the actions of a man or a perpetrator depending on her stance. depending on whether she is inebriated or not, depending on whether she is conscious or not. Those things are not reliant on the individual who is the victim.
No, that's
Regardless of whether you're with her, your stance is
that's
bullshit.
not what I'm saying, though. There's a lot of variables that play into Max, you know, and a lot of the variables that play into it, you know, can't be accounted for and just call and blame.
The biggest variable that plays into grape
Talk.
is consent. And you have already decided that consent can be implied. And that's where obviously you have a very different problematic mindset than the rest.
Well, I wouldn't consider it problematic, but
That's
I mean,
okay. We can have a difference of opinion in that.
hasn't been problematic for me personally, but
Oh, well, no, you've only had 2 relationships and your longest one's with Mallory.
yeah.
Yeah.
I found what I wanted to be with, and I was.
And that's great. I'm happy for you. Again, my issue is not that you're with Mallory. My issue is that you have a shit stance.
You,
So
you
my
both
shit's-
do. You're both in an echo chamber, per
Y'all
se.
deserve each other.
Okay. You view my shit stance as the man,
Of consent being implied, yeah, that's a shit stance.
Yep.
and you're gonna tell me that every time you've had sex, you've been asked.
Yes.
That's how
Whether-
I'm into it, so yeah.
That's how what?
That's how I get into it, so yeah.
Yeah, I've never once asked that question. I've just known.
That's creepy.
All right,
Yeah, that's a
Bridger.
fucking problem.
Thank you,
I'm
Riley.
gonna, I'm
That's a
gonna
big
take
problem.
it down a notch. You're
Just as Sassy said, like you've just known. Like you don't like. Am I fucking batshit crazy?
just.
You are.
I'm gonna take it down a notch. Let's say you're at a bar talking face to face with a girl. You think she leans in a tiny bit. Are you just gonna kiss her, or are you gonna ask?
If a girl leans in a tiny bit, set the context. That's what I'm saying. There's lots of variables that go into it.
No,
What
the
is-
answer is you ask.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying though. What is the context of the like? You can't propose a question without explaining all the variables.
I
That
Like
is
this-
implied,
we had a
implied
romantic date
after
at an
a
Italian
super
restaurant that we-
complex mathematical
Or
formula.
we had a fucking coffee shop at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I already said at a bar talking face to face, and she leans in a little bit.
I mean, I wouldn't kiss her personally. That's just
W's
like,
in the
I
chat
would.
for Bridger.
Like, I wouldn't. But, like, if I came 90% of the way, you know, and, like, wanted to kiss her, then she could finish the last 10. You know, like the 90-10 rule.
Or you
Okay.
could ask.
Yeah.
Or we could just see what the fuck happens like adults do and not ask a stupid ass question.
Just
On-
ask.
Oh,
stupid
okay.
question.
How is consent?
I'd rather
Holy
be the
fuck,
fucking
bro.
awkward guy who came 90% of the way and got shot down rather than
The fact that you just said
Rather
that
than be the
consent,
awkward guy that asks if it's okay to fucking touch somebody.
rather than be the awkward guy
Holy
that asks if it's
fucking
okay to
shit.
kiss you. That's way more fucking awkward. At least where the fuck I'm from.
How the
So you'd
fuck is
rather
that
be-
awkward?
you'd rather be a rapist than ask.
How,
you guys.
I'll tell you right now, as a woman, if someone sat there and said,
Alright,
"Oh,
Rob.
can I kiss you?" 100%
Rob,
cool.
Rob, this
How
is
the
Mallory,
fuck-
by the way.
How
Bridger?
the fuck?
Hey, everyone.
if I had asked you
All
to
I
kiss
am
me,
saying-
you would have said no.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would have been like, you know what? You just ruined the whole mood. I was hoping to kiss you, but now that you asked me, that kind of ruined the vibe that was going on.
Yeah, but Mallory, you already have issues, babe. Go away.
And you do too, babe. So,
Mwah! Love you. Go away. We're talking
I
to Bridger.
love you too, babe.
We're
I
talking to
love
Bridger.
you too.
Honestly, Mallory, with all respect, you surrendered your spot when you dropped, so.
Oh, I definitely did. But you know what? People are so obsessed with me that they had to go onto my Facebook and look at who I'm in a relations with and come into the chat and
Are
try
you
to find
6? You're gonna try
We're
to
mocking
imitate
people
somebody's
now.
accent?
You're so obsessed with
Grow the fuck up,
defending
dude. Holy
greatness.
shit.
So I'll speak to you how you spoke to everyone previously. You and your situation does not automatically transfer to every other situation.
Same with
I'm going to
me.
slow things down so people can understand when they're obviously not that bright. I can slow it down for you, hun. Your situation isn't the same as everyone else's.
The exception does not make the rule, Mallory and Bridger. Y'all need to learn that.
I agree with that because I was going to say the same. Like, if because I'm single now, but like my ex, like I'm still in love with him. If he came up and like kissed me now, sort of thing, without asking, then I'd be like obviously okay with it. But it's not okay for everybody else.
And I want to give another real life example. Every time I've had a girl over in my bed or something like that, I've asked her and waited until she said yes before I kiss her. It does not ruin the mood to get consent. That is another wild statement. Like, you already were victim blaming, and then you send your boyfriend up here and then complain that people are obsessed with you.
Hey, I haven't been the bad guy. Okay.
The other thing is though, some people are scared to say no. So
Yeah.
obviously, if it was in the consent of like, obviously the like concept of like someone just coming on to him and stuff. If stuff has happened even before, sometimes they just freeze. So it's still, I get what the other guys are saying when they say you should still ask.
I became obsessed with you, Mallory, when I heard Bridger say that shit.
I became obsessed when she said that, then came back.
I became completely put off whenever you said it depends on what women wear.
Yeah, that was crazy. You clearly...
And also whenever Bridger said that it can be implied based on alcohol levels.
Okay, that's not what the fuck I said. Don't twist my fucking word.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it is.
No, that's not what I said. I said it can be implied depending on the context of the situation. There's a lot of fucking...
And what situation did you provide?
Situation, you're both drinking at a bar.
Okay.
He
Alcohol
comes on
level.
to you. Nope.
Thank you.
No. Okay. Say she's not drinking. It doesn't matter. She comes on to you. She asks you out. You guys go out on a date. You lean in. She kisses you back. 90-10 rule. I'll come 90% of the way, you come 10.
That doesn't
Yeah, but
mean
I'm
that
not
she
pushing
consents
that last
to
10.
activities.
You don't have to fucking put that last 10. That's your fucking choice. That's my whole point.
Yes, but at that point, it's mutual consent. That's what we're saying.
That's what the fuck my whole argument's about. Like,
your argument is that it's implied. It's not, though.
No, but there is instances of implied consent when your girlfriend, like,
so take away the word implied, because I
personal
feel
shit
like
that she does that makes
so really
me
quick,
know that
Bridger,
she wants to,
Bridger,
but that's
really
implied
quick.
consent. That's literally
Really
the
quick,
definition
quick
of it.
question. Can we take implied out of it and put nonverbal in? Because I think that's where the issue and the miscommunication may come from your position. Devil's advocate.
Nonverbal consent. Let's call it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. That's
Okay.
a better term for it.
Real fast.
I
wanna
think
say
they
something.
mean the same thing, but nonverbal is probably a better term for it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
We
I
agree
think
on
it's
that?
just a miscommunication and a lack of word choice, basically. That's being the issue here. So let's, with implied out, now we're taking nonverbal in. Yes, there is such thing as nonverbal consent. There is. I will agree with that, but implied is not.
Yeah, but it's knowing when non-verbal consent is okay.
Understand, like, the definition of implied is basically the same thing as nonverbal.
It's
Like,
not. An implication is an assumption based on the situation.
And that's exactly what like
That's not non-consensual consent.
It's
that's
also
basically
knowing.
the exact
It's
same
also
thing.
knowing when you can and can't use non-verbal consent. 'Cause if you don't know the person, you don't know if they're actually agreeing to it.
Yeah, but if she starts walking you back to your truck, then you know that that's like
Oh, so because a woman walks you to a truck, that's consent?
You might
walks
just
you
want a
to
coffee.
your truck or says, "Let's go back to your place." Is that not like
I'm so sorry.
the starting of nonverbal consent?
That is not
No.
what that means.
If she says, "Well, let's go back to your place," that's the start of nonverbal consent. Okay, not saying it's the finish, but it's the start. Okay, just because
Well,
you
but she just wants
ask
to be
her,
seen with you.
like,
So whenever she's walking back to your truck with you before that, did you ask her, "Hey, do you want to go back to my place?" Or is she just following you out to your truck? Because if she's following you out, that's weird.
explain what you're getting at there. Like,
So, like, let's say your situation, she's walking out to your truck with you. Did you ask her, "Hey, you want to go back to my place or you want to go back to your place?" Because if not, then she's weird. Because then
well,
she's just following you.
of course you would ask that. Like, you want to go back to my place? Yeah, of course. If
Okay,
she wants to go back to hers, then you go back to hers, and then you read the fucking room. You know,
That could also be just to hang out, though.
walk her up to your door. At least that's
Agreed,
how
Harley.
I was raised. You know, walk her back up to her door, and if she wants more, I don't know, she'll grab a hand or whatever. You know.
A hand is consent. Okay.
No, I'm saying like when you're at her front door, like
Oh, you're
in her
so you're saying
hypothetical
like, "Hey,
situation.
she pulls you in, wants a kiss or whatever."
Yes. And that, you know, can initiate things, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Or
Okay, I can
let's
see
go
where you're
back-
coming from with it.
Okay, that's what I'm getting by like nonverbal, like, you know, where questions don't need to be asked, where it's like, you know, you just do, you know, there's a way to communicate. Everyone reads nonverbal shit. I don't know why that was like so hard to get out, and I don't know why implied was like the wrong word.
That can lead to miscommunication. You don't always get everyone's body language or actions correct.
No, like I said, I've froze before because it's happened to me before. So when someone's come on to me, I freeze because it freaks me out and I have a panic attack.
And freezing is then like he should stop. I agree. I've never kissed a girl that's froze. You know, that hasn't kissed me back. If that makes sense. And I know I'm younger than most of the people on this panel, but I've never kissed a girl that hasn't kissed me back. Like,
I can honestly say I've kissed a guy back because I was scared.
It does
Yeah,
happen.
that's what I was about to bring up. You also have to be aware that, like, so like in your situation, you're in a long-term relationship at this point, regardless of who it's with. Fuck it if it's with Mal. I don't care about Mal. I'm sorry. Not in a mean way. I'm just saying, like, that's irrelevant at this point to this particular section of this conversation. Okay?
okay.
So we're saying that, hey, you're in a long-term relationship with this person. You understand each other, and there are certain situations where, like, it leads up and it continues, and then that happens. Okay, right? Are you saying that's the same as, like, meeting a random fucking person at a bar and just assuming?
I
Based
don't
on,
like
like,
to
their
assume
reactions.
personally, and I get what your point is. Like that
I'm trying to get to the root of it. I'm not trying to pry with you or anything like that. So I don't want it to come off
I get
wrong.
where you're going with it, and that's where I'm sitting at right now.
Yeah.
Understand that obviously it's different being somebody at a bar, but personally, as a guy, there's a lot of ways to read the room. You know, gauge the
As a
temperature.
lesbian, I understand reading a room with women.
Yeah,
Been doing it for years.
You know,
But
I went to a strip club, and it was pretty cool. And you know, just looking around that room, I saw a lot of opportunity. Did I do that correctly, Bridger? Read the room.
What do you mean you saw a lot of opportunity? 'Cause Like
Well, there's
I've never been to a strip club. I'm being honest. Never been to one.
Props to you.
I
That's not a
actually do
slight.
Never had
believe
Props
any
to
that
you.
one.
interest in it.
I do believe that one.
No, never had any interest in it, nor do I ever care to.
I'm
Because
asking you a hypothetical.
you're
I'm
asking me.
asking I'm asking you if I read
walk
the
into a strip
room
club,
correctly. I'm in a strip club and I see a lot of opportunity. Did I read the room correctly?
the strippers or the like people around the area. That's what I'm saying. There's lots of fucking variables that go into everything.
The strippers are still people.
I'm not saying that they're not people. I'm saying in this situation, is he talking to the strippers? Are those his opportunity, or are the people that are surrounding the strippers the opportunity?
You know, Mallory did the same kind of thing the first live she was in, if I remember correctly. It was like a whole
Ask you more of the
huge.
variables, because that's all I'm doing is ask.
No,
Like, no,
it
give me
was
the
a
variables on the fucking hypothetical situation you put up. I'm not
it
going
was
to
a
answer a
whole
question.
what if game, right? No,
No,
you
this
don't need to
isn't a
answer
what
because
if.
it was honestly a rhetorical question, Bridger. Like I was trying to point out a hole in your argument, and it went like 7,000 feet over your head. All this is at the moment is a big what if game with you.
None of it's a what if. It's the fact that you guys don't have any variables to what you're explaining.
You guys, as if I didn't just try and break it down with you.
No, I agree with you. Okay, I do.
I'm genuinely trying to get your side on it because I don't want to come at you super hard if it's not necessary, because that's just not my vibe.
No, I understand.
Which is why I wanted to break
and I
down
get along with you.
implied
But
versus.
then proposing the question of some guy walking into a strip club, does he see a lot of opportunities? It depends on the context. I've never been to a strip club. Are there lots of girls there? I don't know if that's a place to meet girls. Honestly, I definitely wouldn't want to, I don't know, personally touch a stripper with a 10-foot pole. But that's me. I wouldn't be around that.
Damn.
That's me, personally. But that's why I'm saying you can't give a hypothetical without giving the variables to it. Like, is a strip club a good place to meet a girl? Probably not. But
Okay,
to answer your
quick question for you,
is there
Bridger.
a lot of opportunities? I don't fucking know.
Quick question for you. So we know that Mallory chose the man. We're talking about the prompt.
Why do you keep bringing up Mal?
Because she's there with you, dude, and she was in the live earlier,
Yeah,
and she dipped out while somebody was dog walking her. She's there with you.
You're
She
only here
spoke
because
on
she told
your
you to come
bogs. Yeah, dude, and you're here because of her. So Mallory chose the man. We're talking about the prompt. What do you choose?
What would I choose?
Yes.
Of course I choose a man.
Okay. Leahy, can I give him the stats real fast?
Sure.
One second. This is Mallory. I do want to apologize to Miss Harley. I was very wrong for mocking you. I am very sorry for that. That was very immature, and I should not have done that. I'm so sorry.
I didn't even hear you.
Well, I'm saying I am sorry that I mocked your accent. I should not have done that. That was very immature. I am so sorry for that.
To be fair, if I heard a Scottish accent, I'd probably mock it as well.
It's
This week I'll have a good laugh.
yeah, that is funny. But regardless, I shouldn't have done that, and that was not okay. And I am very sorry for that. You have a beautiful accent, and I shouldn't have done that. I'm so sorry.
Nah, you're good. Although I do strongly disagree about it being beautiful.
Thank you.
Bridger, the stats were just grizzly bears.
What?
Hold
You're
on.
cutting out.
1 sec. Is that better?
Yeah. What were you asking?
Okay, so the stats are 5 through 6 grizzly bears had fatal attacks in the last 5 years in North America. And then 450,000 essays per year.
Your point is like it.
The point is that there's a large amount of men that could essay
Yeah, but
versus
that's not what your question's asking.
He's basically saying there's more men that attack people than bears.
I know what he's like. I think I know what he's getting at, but
But the
in
question
his question, would you rather come across a man or a bear?
No, that was my question. You chose man. Kai was giving you some stats.
Yeah,
So
but
with those stats, are you still man?
Of course, like because a bear is a guaranteed death. Like
No, it's
not every
No.
not every bear
Not at all.
is a death. I've come across 3
That
or
makes
4
sense.
in my life, but
There was 6 deaths by bear in the past 5 years. 450,000 sexual. I'm sorry, Rob, you might have to kick me for that one. Essays per year in the past 5 years.
but
Happily be it with a bear.
you're not talking about an average man. That's what I'm saying. You can't use statistics like that. That's not the way statistics work. Would I rather come across a man or a bear? Probably a
And
man.
you don't know the guy, so let's do the fun scenario.
That's what I'm saying. There's variables though, and you're not like make your question account for the variables.
Let's cover. Okay, check it out.
So-
When you're
so-
in math class, hold on, Bridger.
No,
when you're
no,
in math
that's it.
class,
Let me finish. Say
All right,
your
fine.
question said. Say your question said. Okay, is your person like, or would you rather come across a sexual predator or a, mama grizzly?
Thank you for saying that, because that's actually exactly where I was going. When you're in math class and you're taking a math test and you get these questions with complex algebraic formulas on it, do you get to introduce your own variables to solve it?
Of course not.
Okay, thank you. So let's put on our story cap. Let's put on our imagination cap for a second. We're in the woods. Not we, actually. It's just you. You're alone. You're walking down a path, and all of a sudden, you are greeted by an organism. It is a man or a bear. You don't know anything about this man or the bear. The bear could be a psychopath. You don't know. You don't know either of them. Which do you choose?
The man.
Okay.
Stand a
So
war.
if I may,
Yep.
I'm choosing the bear because I can read that bear. That bear can't deceive me intentionally. That bear can't follow me. That bear, obviously I'm not necessarily worried about the essay angle, but that bear couldn't offer to walk with me or something and then crack me in the back of the head with a rock. It's either going to be hungry, angry, or walk away from me.
Like, what's the man going to be? Then, if you're going to put constrictions on the bear, what's the man going to be?
Well, I just gave you
What are the
4
constrictions of the man?
potential outcomes. Do
Yeah.
you want more potential outcomes?
No, I'm saying you have to give variables for both of them. What the hell's the
No.
man? Are we talking
I
about? Like,
didn't give you any variables for the bear. That's just how bears are. The bear is either going to be hungry, it's going to be mad about seeing me, or it's not going to care about seeing me.
what about the man?
Variables for the man: kidnap, rape, torture, murder.
Do you think you stand a better chance against the bear than the man? 'Cause I can tell you tenfold. If that bear's mad, you don't.
If
Are you talking an angry mother bear coming after her cub or like protecting her cub? Or are you talking a guaranteed sexual predator? Because that's what it sounds like what you're getting at.
The what if game, ladies and gentlemen, there it is again.
No, it's not a what if. It's variable.
That's exactly
That's
what
literally
you're
the
doing.
definition of variables. You can't
Okay.
pick. You have to define the variables for somebody to answer a question.
Bridger.
The variables are you came across an organism and you
So
get to choose
is
if
it a
it's a man or a
predator?
bear.
Is it a man that's a sexual predator that I'm coming across?
No,
You don't
that's
know.
the thing that you're
That's
not
the point.
you're not grasping. We're not playing the what if game. It's a bear or a man. You don't know anything about either of them. There are no variables. It's a
Okay.
bear or a man.
Statistically, I'd much rather come across a man because men, in general, won't kill me
So you think.
per population. Per capita, whatever you want to
I would
call it.
love to see that stat.
And
Look up
what
murder versus bear rates and bear population, and you can do the fucking math.
I
let
already
me
said that earlier. I said there were 6 bear attacks in the past 5 years and 450,000 essays per year in the past 5 years.
Leahy, those stats are actually wrong. So there were 6 fatal attacks,
Oh,
but it says non-fatal attacks are more common with around 30 through 40 each year in North America.
I stand corrected.
But the odds are pretty low of being attacked by a bear.
So real quick, guys, I am gonna wrap this up here soon. It's fucking 2:30 at my house. I know it's later for other people. If anybody's interested in joining the Discord, take a screenshot, long press those green words, copy and paste that to your browser. You'll find links to all my socials, the Discord, as well as a GoFundMe so that we can get some better equipment going to make better quality content so we can reach more people. But again, the Discord link is in there. I apologize to anybody that's in the requests. I do this topic every week, along with plenty of others. But if I wanted to try to get everybody that's requested up here tonight, we're going to be here all fucking night. I encourage you guys to come back next week and we can continue this conversation.
Yeah, I got to be honest. Mallory Gate was very fun. That was a fun experience, fun little conspiracy. Thank you guys for.
I like that name.
Yeah, Mallory Gate. It's good. It's good stuff. We'll talk about that forever, probably. Honestly, I don't agree with either of you. However, I appreciate your contributions to the live. Thank you for sticking around, having the conversation, and I do hope we can continue, and I hope that we can change your mind.
I hope I can change yours. Have a good one.
It'll never happen.
Bridger, before you leave, there was a comment earlier, and I want to ask it. Do you agree with Mallory's stance?
Depends on which one you're talking about. Like what statement are you talking about? I wasn't listening to her talk to you guys the whole time.
They get great and then they get mad.
I'll go a different one. I'll do over the last 20 years or whatever, she said people started dressing more provocative and then grape has gone up.
I mean, to an extent, yes. It depends on the variables in the conversation. And
God damn, you are so obsessed with variables, it's not even funny.
I have one for you.
It depends. It all depends on the context of the situation,
Okay, I got one.
Like nonverbal consent's a real thing that
girl is at the bar, scantily clad, drunk. Oh shit! Hold on. What was it that Mallory said? Oh yeah, she gets essayed She is not allowed to be mad about it. Do you agree with that? I gave you variables, so don't ask me for more variables, please.
No, it depends on how drunk she was. Like, it
Hold on.
Holy
Whoa,
shit.
wait.
No fucking way.
no, it
Jesus
depends on what
Christ.
she said. Like, am
No,
I
no,
not?
no, no,
You
no.
and Mallory are the
Insane?
same fucking person. I swear to God.
Right, hold up. So
Maybe it's because
I-
we both hold each other responsible for like how much we drink, and
so a woman's
I've been
responsible
blackout
for
drunk
getting raped.
one time in my life, and I vowed to never get that drunk again because I don't like not knowing what the fuck I'm doing.
So a woman's
You said,
responsible for getting
hold
raped.
on, but you just said if a woman is at a bar, scantily clad and drunk, and she gets SA'd, she is not allowed to be mad about it. That's what you just agreed with. You said yes.
No. Okay.
That's exactly what you said.
Yes,
Depending on how
I
much she
agree
drank.
with that, but it depends on how drunk she is.
Oh my god!
Oh my, yeah,
No.
you said it again.
Double
dude.
down.
Can I
Holy
just
shit.
interrupt? Can I interrupt and say something,
Holy
please?
fuck.
Right. What happened to me was I was 15 years of age and I got pressured by the person that did it to me, who was 21 years old. He was an adult and I was a child. I
I
got
immediately apologize for that. Like, that's a fucked up
Thank you.
situation. Here, that's statutory rape, so you can't even.
right.
Rape. TikTok
Basically,
shout.
Sorry,
I'm
Schmate.
just going to ask because I went to his flat because his flatmate and my best friend pressured me into going to that flat. And the only way they could shut the door was to lock the door. And that's how it happened to me. My kid's dad, who I was with for 12 years, who was a narcissist, turned around and said that I put myself in that position and it was my fault. That's kind of what you're saying with being drunk.
Not even
Again.
kind of. That is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, again, it depends on context, though.
Oh my
I,
god!
Okay. Triple down.
I will
Bridger.
triple down on this till the day I die. It depends on the context. I don't let
Co-piloting
myself
the
get blackout
kamikaze.
drunk because I don't know what I will do when I'm blackout drunk.
Bridger.
Not saying like, oh, you know, hit, kill, fucking do anything to someone, but I won't let myself get to that point because I don't know myself at that point.
But that doesn't mean someone can grape you.
But I'm saying you
Bridger,
don't.
I have
And
a
as we
suggestion
talked
for
about
you, Rob.
earlier, this is what gets so baffling to me. Is we already talked about there are people that are completely coherent when they're blackout drunk.
Right, but
I have a
Sassy
friend-
just said that they were 15 at the time, and you said it depends on the variables.
Okay, so if he said she was drunk and clearly inebriated, then I would say, yeah, that's fucked up.
You know what?
No,
That's what I would say.
what I
Then
was
she
sort
could
of-
never consent to it because she's clearly inebriated. But if you
What?
said she's
Maybe
drunk,
she's
but
15.
What I was, yeah, it's still rape regardless if I said yes or not. But either way, I didn't. What I
yeah,
was getting
regardless, here that's still rape. Like
What-
I don't know
what I
like,
was getting
where you're
at
from,
was
but in America, it's
my-
still rape.
my ex, who found out about it when I was 18, right, found out about what happened when I was 15 and basically said it was my fault for going to the flat, even though I was pressured into it. So because I went there, was that my fault that it happened to me then?
Real fast, Bridger, I just wanted to say, please look at the "What Were You Wearing" exhibit, since you did agree with that earlier thing Mal said about clothing. And then also, blackout drunk, coherent for them isn't coherent because they can't form short-term memory. So they may say
That's not what
yes.
coherent means.
No, just listen. They may say yes 5 minutes earlier, but then they forget it and now they don't want it. So it's
And again, as I said, playing devil's advocate, how are you supposed to know?
Dude, you're playing the devil, dude. Straight up. You're not even the advocate. You're being the devil right now.
How are you supposed to know how many drinks she's had or what her limit is? Because every person's different. I can have
Because you can
12
hear
beers.
if someone's
Okay,
drinking.
fine, dude. Hold on. We'll play your variable game then. Same scenario. Girl's at a bar. She's slightly inebriated. Had maybe 2 drinks. Slightly inebriated. Scantily clad. Gets SA'd. Does she have the right to be mad about it?
Of course.
Okay. Now, same scenario. Blackout. Wasted. Shit-faced. Scantily clad. Does she have the right to be mad about it?
No, I think she should be angry with herself. That's my perspective.
Whoa!
God damn!
Quadruple down. God damn.
Hey, Bridger.
Yeah.
You and Mallory do the world a fucking favor, and whatever issues are in your relationship, work it the fuck out so that you do not put your fucking bullshit, crazy ass fucking views on anybody else.
Do not procreate.
Oh, trust me, we'll be procreating.
I hope not.
Consensually, I hope, with implied consent.
Did you guys not understand any other perspective other than your own? Or like try to understand? Like
Yes, I love taking the side of great. Sure, mate.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let me just hop right on the grape train.
I think rapists should be hung. I think death penalty should be easily fucking.
You
top
just said
tier
if a woman
firing
is great,
squad, but that's me.
you just
know?
said if a woman's great because she's
No, no,
blackout
no.
drunk, it's her fault and she should be mad at herself.
Oh, you know, your rapist should be hung.
Do you
but
not have control?
It is kind
over
of your
how drunk
fault.
You are like, am I bad shit? Like I've been drunk a lot of times in my life. As I told you, I've been blackout drunk once, and I told myself I'm never getting to that point again because I don't know who the fuck I am at that point.
Okay.
I just fucking like I don't trust myself to get that drunk because
What
it's not
is
fucking
empathy?
good.
What does
All right.
empathy mean?
Different scenario. Girl's 21st birthday. She's just testing her limits.
Yeah,
She's
hey, I don't know what country
blackout
you're
drunk.
living in, but that ain't ever been around here.
Plenty of people do wait till they're
I get
21.
what you're saying. I get the, yeah.
Anyways, blackout drunk. Didn't know her limits. She gets great. What then?
Okay, personally, never been around that. Obviously, disagree with it. If it's your first time ever getting drunk, I would hope that you're around people that, would hold up and support you.
So it's your friend's responsibility to make sure a man doesn't grape you.
No, but I think it's your friend's responsibility to at least take care of you.
What do you even call that?
I'm
Is
not-
that friend of victim blaming? Victim adjacent blaming? What is that?
Well, it's victim blaming because you should, as a victim, you should have friends that'll protect you from getting raped.
What kind of mental gymnastics are going on right now?
We're watching Olympic level mental gymnastics. It's fucking
Right.
insane. With that being said, I'm gonna shut this down. I've heard a whole lot of grape being said without the G, and a bunch of other things.
I was gonna say,
I'm not
sorry.
trying to get kicked off of here.
I was going to say, sorry, I know you've got to go, sorry, mate. But can I just very, very quickly ask something?
Go for it, man.
Just with the non-verbal stuff, like I say, everything and thank you for letting me join. Everything you have said, I agree with. But I was going to say, I had a girlfriend for 3 years. I'm only 19, by the way. And I had a girlfriend, but there was never a yes or no. It was, and I don't agree with the impressions, but when she's jumping on you and taking your pants off, it's just another light scenario, if you know what I mean. I don't agree with anything this Bridge just said, by the way. I'm just saying, with the impression part and having a girlfriend for 3 years, without discussing yes or no, you can see where the impression comes from when they're jumping on you and taking your pants off, for example.
In a relationship, yes. Implied,
relationship, yeah.
Yes. What was the correct term for it that we agreed on earlier, everyone?
Nonverbal.
Great. Excellent.
So yeah, no, thank you. That's all I wanted to ask. I know you've got to go. Thank you for letting me join. Cheers.
Appreciate you, AD.
AD, I'll drop you a follow. No, he's private.
Yeah. So I am going to shut this down for the night. Again, I appreciate everybody. If you're not in the Discord and you would like to be in the Discord, it's a safe place for men and women. We have men helping men, women helping women, as well as a general group chat. Take a screenshot, long press the green words, or send me a message, and I will get you an invitation. I know we've had some fucking wild opinions on here tonight. The whole reason we keep these people on here is to try to educate, try to point out the flaws in their thinking and get them to change their ways of thinking. But also to raise awareness of these kinds of people exist. And this is exactly what we're trying to, the behavior and thought processes that we're trying to change to make the world a better place for future generations. No doxing. Don't fucking try to find out people's personal information. Shit's unnecessary. That being said, everybody have a good night. We'll be live again tomorrow night with a different topic. If you haven't followed me, follow me. The Linktree also has a link for my backup account. I appreciate you guys. Have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Good night, Rob.